Okay, let's talk about something real. This one's for anyone out there who's ever felt like you're a burden just for asking for a little help. You know that feeling when you hesitate to ask someone to repeat themselves because you're scared of how they'll react? Yeah, stick with me. We're going to take that fear apart piece by piece. Do any of these thoughts hit a little too close to home? You're such a burden. You're just slow. Ugh, you're not even listening. That's that nasty little voice in your head, right? It just loves to pop up the second we need something explained, maybe a second or, a third time. It feels awful. It feels really isolating. But believe me, it's so, so common. I mean, I can so clearly remember this one time. I was in this huge project meeting. My manager was just machine gunning like a dozen steps for some new process. And my brain totally short-circuited back on step 2. The idea of actually raising my hand and being like, sorry, can we go back, was just terrifying. I could feel the eye rolls. The thought of being that person, the one slowing everybody down, it was just paralyzing. So let's actually give this thing a name. Let's call it the trauma of the sigh. You know what I'm talking about. That tiny little puff of air, that huff of frustration you get from a teacher, a boss, maybe even someone you love. It's just a sound, right? But oh my gosh, it says so much without a single word. It screams impatience, disappointment, judgment. And if your brain isn't wired in a perfectly straight line, maybe you've got ADHD or something similar, that sound, it's a major, major trigger. And what happens when you hear this sigh over and over and over again? Well, you start building something. Let's call it the shame wall. Brick by brick, every bad reaction adds to this invisible barrier. It's a defense mechanism, right? You just decide, you know what, it's safer to just nod and pretend I get it. So you stop asking for help, you start guessing, you make mistakes, and boom, more shame. Another brick in the wall. It's just a brutal, brutal cycle. Okay, but what if you had a teacher that literally could not sigh? A teacher whose patience meter just didn't exist. It couldn't run out. Well, that's where we're headed next. We're going to talk about a whole new kind of tool that completely flips this entire dynamic on its head. So let's just lay it out side by side. A human teacher versus an AI teacher. A person, look, their ego can get bruised, their patience absolutely has a limit, and yeah, they might judge you. An AI, it has zero ego. Its patience is infinite, and it will never judge you. It doesn't get tired, it can't get frustrated. It is literally incapable of thinking you're being stupid. And this brings us to the big idea for today. It's called the 50x rule. Now, think of this as a new rule for your brain. It's a mental framework that gives you total permission to be relentless. I mean, relentless in getting the answers you need. It means you can ask an AI to explain something 50 different ways. Rephrase it, simplify it, use a weird metaphor, whatever it takes, until it finally clicks for the unique way your brain works. All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how does this actually work in the real world? Let's dive into 3 super practical ways you can put the 50x rule to work, like right now. Okay, first up, we have the ELI 5 method. That's short for explain like I'm 5. This is where you ask for simple terms, creative metaphors, you name it. Then there's the linear breakdown. This is your best friend when a task just feels like this big, overwhelming blob. And finally, number 3, the simplest one, but maybe the most powerful, the judgment-free repeat. Okay, so let's try out that ELI 5 method. Picture this. You get one of those work memos that's just word soup, right? Total corporate jargon. Instead of your eyes glazing over, you can just pop it into an AI and say, hey, explain this to me using a sports metaphor. And if that doesn't land, no problem. Try, okay, now explain it with a cooking metaphor or a movie one. You just keep going until one of them makes sense.
And what happens to the AI's patience meter after you ask it for, like, a weird sports metaphor? Take a look. Absolutely nothing. It's still chilling at 100%, ready for whatever you throw at it next, no matter how strange it seems.
Oh, this is so real. You're trying to focus and then ping, an email pops up. Your brain zaps over to it and poof, whatever you were just reading is gone. With a person, you feel so awkward admitting you got distracted. But with an AI, you can just be honest. Hey, I got distracted. Tell me that again. And the result? Check it out. The patience meter is still, you guessed it, totally full. No sigh, no subtle change in tone, no judgment whatsoever. It just gives you the information again, fresh, like it's the very first time you asked. This right here,
This simple little thing is an absolute game changer if your brain doesn't always follow a straight path.
Look, this is so much bigger than just a simple productivity hack or a cool trick to get work done faster. The 50x rule actually goes way deeper. It's about healing. What this is, really, is a tool for emotional regulation. Think about it. When you take away that fear of being judged, you free up so much space in your head. Your brain isn't wasting energy running that constant low-level anxiety program in the background anymore. It can actually just focus on the information. The AI becomes this safe harbor, this protected space where you can pull apart a complex idea at your own pace with zero pressure. And hey, this isn't just for you at work. If you're a parent, this is huge. You know when your kid asks, "What?" for the 5th time, or why, and you can feel your own patience starting to fray. Instead of letting that turn into a fight, you can literally just hand them the AI and say, "Go ahead, ask it 50 times. It saves your relationship and it empowers them to become independent learners. It's a win-win. So, what this really does is completely reframe how you think about learning. The AI is not your boss. It is not your judge. You need to think of it as your own personal professor, and you are 100% the boss. It's a tool that exists to serve you and the unique way your brain is wired, not the other way around. So I want to leave you with this question. Just really think about it. What could you master if shame was completely off the table? If that fear of asking, that feeling of being slow, what if it just vanished? What's that one complex thing you'd finally go after? What subject would you just dive into head first? Because that's what the 50x rule really gives you. It's not just about answers. It's about permission. Permission to be curious again, totally and completely without fear.